This is Charles Caro of the Option Trader's Assistant, and today I'm going to talk about adjustments. Now, I have an example trade on here, which is an iron condor in the QQQ, but you can see it really doesn't need adjustment. It's still right in the center. So I'm going to show some adjustments, and I'm going to show how the software works. These aren't recommended adjustments. It's just to show how the software works. On the trade analysis page here, the little wrenches on the icons are the ones that relate to adjustments. This one here, the wrench with the I for information, lets you set where the adjustment points are, and you'll get alerts on if those adjustment points are hit. And there's different ways to specify those, and I'll talk about those in a different video. And these three buttons over here are modeling adjustments with the modeling matrix, modeling adjustments with the adjustment assistant, and then custom adjustments with the adjustment assistant. And also under adjustments, modifying your trade are the scale up and scale down. I'll show you how those work as well. If I click on this, I get to the adjustment assistant, and OTA will detect whether you're being challenging the upside or the downside on a non-directional trade like an iron condor. So it'll start out on the upside tab here, but you can switch upside or downside, and it gives you a couple of the common adjustments, and these will be based on the context of what strategy you're employing. If you have an iron condor, these are some of the typical adjustments you might look at, and some of the other trades, there may be different ones. These don't really have a lot of parameters to them. There are a couple of the adjustment assistants that let you pick a center point if you were going to, for example, adjust a butterfly by adding another butterfly or a calendar. It will give you some parameters to choose, but in this case, it's very simple. So if I was going to say propose rolling the upper wing up, you just click propose, and the option trader's assistant will scan the option chains and find the right options to make that happen. The graph here now, so the little annotation, the darker numbers here are your original trade, and then the lighter numbers show what the adjustment would be like. They're proposed. In other words, the darker ones are the existing, and the lighter ones are the proposed legs. You can see on the graph here, I'm trying to move this out of the way a little bit. The solid line is the current P&L, and the dotted lines are what the trade would look like after the adjustment, the proposed adjustment. And over here, it has a bar for the adjustment, and you can click on this and it'll open up and show you all kinds of details about it. This are the Greeks of the adjustment and the price of it. And this is the margin after adjusting and the effect of the adjustment. And there's even a title that we automatically generate, and you can change that if you want to. Anything you do in here, you can click update, and it will update this proposed adjustment. And it has each of the legs of the adjustment, and you can actually make changes in here if you want to. Suppose I want to do a different adjustment. Instead of rolling the whole wing down, suppose I just want to roll the short down. I can click propose on that. Oh, and it had shifted and it was showing me the downside. Well, all right, let me go back to, well, it doesn't matter. For what I'm trying to show you is here that now we have two proposed adjustments. And the one with the little check mark is the currently one being displayed over here. And you see it rolls the puts, the short put down. And I can open that up and look at it. And by the way, there's a delete button here too if you want to get rid of one if you've got too many proposals. And if I want to switch back to seeing what rolling the wing would look like, I just click on this little box here, and you'll notice that the check mark now shows up here, and this is the one that is being modeled. So you can switch back, and you can have any number of proposed adjustments and switch back and forth to look at them and compare what the Greeks would be. And by the way, down at the bottom here, if you scroll down, here are the current Greeks and the margin, and the proposed margin requirement and the Greeks after the adjustment. So you can compare those two, and you can click the little check marks here to turn the graph on and off. If you want to see just the proposed graph, you click this button and it'll reload with just the proposed graph of the adjustment. As I said, you can do any number of those. Now, the other thing we can do is the custom adjustment. And what this does, and it's the same place, you can just click on these tabs if you want to. You can put a title in here, and then it has all your existing legs, and you can just modify them any way you want. So if I wanted to roll the upper short, it's currently at 554. Say I wanted to roll just 5 of them up to 555. Then you can specify and then click propose. And now I have yet another adjustment that's being proposed that I can compare. And I'll go back into the custom adjustments here for a minute. You can also add new legs as an adjustment. And you just specify buy or sell, call or put, the quantity, the strike price, and the expiration date. And that way you can propose any combination of closing or rolling the existing legs of the trade or adding new legs to the trade. And let's just say I wanted to buy a put at, I don't know, somewhere way out of the money. And I can click propose on that. And no, there's no change up to the existing legs, so nothing happens up there. But you could have closed an existing leg in addition to proposing a new leg. And that looks a little strange, but it does what buying a put would do. It protects you on the downside. So, and again, you've got all of these. I didn't put in a title for each adjustment, but you can. And there it is. And I can click back and forth between any of these. Now, whichever one has the check mark is the selected adjustment. And if I'm ready to implement that adjustment, then I can click, in this case, this is a paper trade, paper commit adjustment will commit that adjustment. Or I've got the two commit dialog boxes up here. If it was a live trade, I would have a shopping cart button in which I could just put the order in for that adjustment immediately and fill it in the usual way. Now, another modification, it's not strictly speaking like an adjustment, but it's kind of is scale down. And these buttons here, this is the scale up and the scale down on the toolbar, but it's also a scale up and scale down here. So let's say I just wanted to take off half, and I have 10 contracts, so I propose taking 5 off. Just click propose, and now I've got a proposal to close 5 of the 10 contracts that I have open on this iron condor, and there it is. And it's one of the proposed adjustments. So now I would just click paper commit if I was doing it on paper, or I would have an ordering dialog if it was a live order. So that's how easy it is to scale off half or any number of your contracts. And scaling into a position also works the same way. If I had only one contract and I wanted to add 3 more, you just click the number of contracts you want to add, click propose. And then if you're happy with that, you just click the order button or the commit button. And you see I've got quite a few now here that I can go back and forth between. And I didn't mention on adjusting, instructions are here. If you open the instructions tab, you've got the when to adjust, which shows the 2 adjustment points. And you click here. It's the same dialog box to see how they're calculated and to change where they're calculated. And after an adjustment, you may want to revisit where reset your adjustment points. So you can come here and do that. You see how it says reset alerts. You can either have that unchecked or checked, and it will reset your upside and downside adjustment point alerts for you. And then the how to adjust button box here, when you're setting up a trade initially, and it depends on how experienced you are. There are people that just are so experienced they know what their adjustments are. They don't need any reminders. If you're a little newer to option trading, or it would help you in the thick of the moment when you hit an adjustment point and the market is jumping around and you've got to do something, a lot of times it's very helpful to have instructions that you just follow. Put the instructions here that says if I hit the upside adjustment point, this is what I'm going to do. Then when you hit that adjustment point, you simply come here and look at the instructions and follow them. can make things a lot less stressful in option trading. So I can change this and just click save, and that'll be saved there. Okay, well, that's the story on adjusting.